from 1980 to 2018. Then, in the year 2000 or even in the 1990s, many provisions of the corporation code became outdated na versus the actual situation, especially in the ASEAN region. Okay? Yeah. The business is basically governed, especially corporations, which um, gives a particular or a greater contribution to the economy. Okay, um, needs to be changed now at that time because our ASEAN neighbors are getting a lot of attention when it comes to corporate investments. Therefore, because of that, Congress reviewed the provisions of the Batas Pambansa Bilang 68. And one of those that they were looking into is technology, the OPC or the one person corporation, and the governance gaps. Then in 2016 and 2017, during the 18th Congress deliberations, there were changes in the suggested for the new corporation code, like matters on perpetual term, the one person corporation, the digital voting, and stronger SEC powers were all prioritized. And in November 28, 2018, the Senate and the House passed the law, and then it was consolidated. On the part of the Senate, it was Senate Bill number 1280, and on the part of the House was House Bill 8374. After it was approved by both chambers of Congress on February 20, 2019, the law, Republic Act 11232, or the Revised Corporation Code of the Philippines, was approved. And therefore, because of that law, Section 187 of that law states that Batas Pambansa Bilang 68 and all laws inconsistent with Republic Act 11232 are now repealed. So any books that you have that which still uses the Batas Pambansa Bilang 68 as the corporation code is no longer applicable. Okay? And this took effect in 2019 after publication of the official gazette and newspapers of general circulation. Okay, now, what are the key innovations of Republic Act 11232? Okay, the first one is Section 11. Okay, the default corporate term is now perpetual. Wala na 50-year renewal. Before manggod in the old corporation code, corporations have a 50-year existence. So wala na siya uh, expiration. Corporations now have perpetual existence. Now, question, ang katong mga na-register under the old law mo expire ba gihapon sila because they're still covered by the old law? No, according to Section 11, existing corporations automatically get perpetual term unless sila mismo they opted for a specific term. So ang default karon, if wala sila gibutang sa ilahang corporation, sa ilang articles of incorporation na ay fixed term, then the presumption is perpetual ang ilang existence. Another major change, is what we call the one-person corporation. This is covered in sections 116 to 132. Karon, a single natural person, trust or estate may form a one-person corporation. The one-person corporation is a full juridical entity separate from the single stockholder. Okay? Kay ang requirement could before dapat na amoy at least 5 before ka maka-form of corporation. Ang advantage ani kung one-person corporation, so ikaw ra isa ka buo, pwede ka mag-form of corporation, and the protection for a corporation will be applied to you. Wala na unlimited liability. The difference between a partnership and a corporation is that in a corporation, the stockholders are only liable after their contribution. Wala sila personal liability. Unlike in partnership, pwedeng na unlimited liability ang general partner. So it is an advantage on the part of the person nga gusto magnegosyo para malikayan ang mga liability is magporma na lang siya og one person corporation. Okay? And because of technology, sections 23, 49, and 52 now includes remote voting. Stockholders and directors may attend or vote via video conferencing, teleconferencing, or remote communication. These are now counted as present for quorum. Before, live jud nga meeting or face-to-face meeting. Because of this revision, pwede na silang mo attend online, okay, virtually, and that is already considered present na for quorum. Now, Section 22 talks about the independent directors. Public interest corporations or PICs must have at least 20% independent directors. So gisa kanila to 20% independent directors for public interest corporations. The SEC gidefine nila unsay qualifications sa independent directors and naapod sila term limits. Okay? Sections 154 to 179 um, talks about the stronger SEC powers. Karon, the SEC may issue ex parte cease and desist orders. When you say ex parte, meaning dili sila maghuwat og court order. They can issue cease and desist orders impose sa mga companies or corporations, meaning isirado, or impose fines of up to 2 million or i-dissolve ang corporation for fraud, tax evasion, graft, and exercise visitorial powers. So gitagaan og more teeth ang SEC in regulating corporations. And Section 181 talks about the arbitration provisions in the Articles of Incorporation or bylaws. Now, intra-corporate disputes may now be submitted to arbitration if the Articles of Incorporation or bylaws so provide. Ang nakanindot aning kuan, nakanindot aning mga arbitration is dili mo kinahanglan mo atong korte to settle a matter or settle an issue. Pwede na iagi sa og arbitration before pa nimo isang at sa korte. Okay? So this is the advantage. So arbitral awards are executory after 15 days. Right. Now, knowledge check lang. Now, for this one muna, I'll show the answers, okay? But in the next na to nga meeting, I'll already blanket and then call on people to answer, okay? So, under Section 188, Republic Act 11232 takes effect upon basically nakabutang sa Section 188 nga ang Republic Act 11232 will take effect upon completion or publication in the official gazette or at least 2 newspapers of general circulation. Okay? So when you are asked when did the corporation law took effect, it took effect with after 2 weeks. Okay? After 2 weeks. Oh no. Okay. Not 2 weeks pala. Sorry. After it was published in the official gazette or 2 newspapers of general circulation. Even sa kanang actual law, the actual law, any laws for that matter, it will not take effect upon signing of the president. It always takes effect by these requirements. Completion of publication in the official gazette or at least 2 newspapers of general circulation. Number 2, which law did Republic Act 11232 expressly repeal under Section 187? So it's Batas Pambansa Bilang 68, the old Corporation Code of the Philippines. So therefore, any law inconsistent with Republic Act 11232 is repealed and modified accordingly. Number 3, under Section 182, the jurisdiction over party list organizations previously held by the SEC was transferred to sa una ang mga party list organizations under na sa SEC, karon ang mga party list organizations under na sa COMELEC. Dili na manghilabot ang SEC ana. So Section 182 transferred the powers, authorities, and responsibilities of the SEC involving party list organizations to the COMELEC. Okay? COMELEC. And number 4, which of the following is a landmark innovation introduced by Republic Act 11232 that was absent under the Batas Pambansa 68. Okay? That is katong perpetual corporate existence. Muna na siya ang default and the one-person corporation. Okay? So kanang uban na siya before and then nagyapon sa 11232. Okay? So nagyapon na siya both present in BP 68 and 11232. Okay? So we now go to the general provisions of the corporation code. Sugod na ta mismo sa corporation code. Okay? In this one, in this section, we will cover sections 1 to 2 and 35. Okay, we will learn here the four essential attributes of a corporation, the doctrine of separate judicial personality and its consequences, and the express powers under Section 35, and the ultra vires acts under Section 44. Okay, so Section 2 defines a corporation as a corporation is an artificial being created by operation of law, having the right of succession and the powers, attributes, and properties expressly authorized by law or incidental to its existence. Now, let's parse section 2 word by word. All right. Artificial being means the corporation is a legal person, not a natural person. So it has rights and obligations. Of course, it's not an actual human being. It cannot eat, sleep, or go to jail in the traditional sense. So when we say a corporation can be criminally liable or can be sued, what actually happens? It's not the corporation ang issue, but its officers, and they can face imprisonment, and the entity itself can be fined and dissolved. So the artificial being, since artificial being siya, it can own property, it can be sued and be sued, it can even enter contracts in its own corporate name. Important, the corporation has a separate and distinct personality, legal personality from the stockholders and members. That is why, pagka-enter sila ito a contract, na sila yung mga titles of land or any property in the corporate name because they are an artificial being. Okay? Next one is created by operation of law. This is very important. Corporations are created by law, not by contract. So, this is the key distinction from a partnership. Two people can form a partnership just by agreement, but a corporation requires the SEC to issue a certificate of incorporation. Therefore, the corporate existence begins only upon that issuance, not upon signing the articles of incorporation, or not upon payment of capital, or not even upon agreement among the founders of the corporation. So very important, a corporation does not spring from contract unlike a partnership. It exists only upon the issuance of the certificate of incorporation by the SEC. Third, right of succession. Okay? Now, the default is perpetual ang company, di ba? Ang corporation. Under BP 68, a corporation had a 50-year term and then renewable siya. Under Republic Act 11232, unless you specify a term in your articles of incorporation, your corporation lives forever. So this has a massive implication for estate planning, creditor rights, and long-term contractual obligations. So therefore, right of succession, corporation continues. Maski mamatay, ma-withdraw, or mahimong insolvent ang stockholder or member. And the last one, express powers. Section 35 lists the specific powers, and Section 44 punishes those to go beyond them. But here's the nuance. Ultra Vires Act is not necessarily illegal. An act can be ultra vires, or when you say ultra vires, it's outside or beyond the articles of incorporation. Meaning, nasa gihimo nga action nga ning lapas siya or wala nakabutang sa articles of incorporation or bylaws. It doesn't mean criminally illegal siya. Okay? Ultra vires acts may sometimes pwedeng i-ratify by the stockholders. Okay? So kung kana siya nga act outside the articles of incorporation, as long as it's not illegal, dili pwedeng criminally charged ang mga incorporators or shareholders. Okay? Ang pwede nilang mabuhat is i-ratify by the stockholders ang kadtong Ultra Vires Act para mahimo siyang legal or corporate act na. Different, however, kung illegal yun siya, like bribery or fraud. Bribery or fraud can never be ratified. Okay? Bribery or fraud can never be ratified. Dili na siya ultra vires. Okay? Again, ultra vires is not illegal acts. Ultra vires are just acts outside the articles of incorporation, but can be ratified by the stockholders. Okay, now we go to the doctrine of separate juridical personality. Right? Now, the doctrine of separate juridical personality is the cornerstone of corporate law. The corporation is a separate legal person from its stockholders. This means, number one, corporate property is not the property of stockholders. And number two, corporate debts are not automatically the utang of stockholders. Therefore, stockholder liability is limited to their subscription amount. Okay? So muna siya, no? Nakabutang diha, separate property. Corporate property is not the property of stockholders. A stockholder has only an ownership interest, no direct title to specific assets. On the part of separate liabilities, corporate debts are not automatically the debt of stockholders. Liability is limited to the amount of their subscription or their contributed capital. Ang tawag nito ana, limited liability principle. And then you have the separate acts and contracts. Contracts signed by officers in the corporate name bind the corporation as long as signed siya by authorized officers. Pwede siyang mo-bind sa corporation, not the officer personally, provided the officer acted within authority. Okay? Now, natagitawag o piercing the corporate veil. Unsa man na siya? Okay? By the way, napaday separate tax entity. Corporation is taxed separately. You have the corporate income tax at entity level. Of course, you have the dividend tax at the stockholder level. So basically, double taxation siya. Okay? Kay mag-income tax ka sa imong income, right? And then, inig-distribute nimo sa mga shareholders, napad yung final withholding tax. So, double tax on the same income. Okay? Now, as mentioned ganiha, natagitawag piercing the corporate veil. Unsa man na siya? The courts may pierce this corporate veil when the corporate form is used to shield fraud, defeat public policy, or perpetrate injustice. So, di ba ang concept kaniya is that corporation has a separate personality and the shareholders or stockholders also has a separate personality. Whatever is the utang ni corporation, utang na ni corporation. Dili pwedeng ang pabayron sa utang ang shareholders. Now, muna siyang gitawag corporate veil. Veil is like, kita mo ng baga kaayong kortina. Ano yung murag tawag? Veil. Ang baga kay nga kortina, muna siya murag nag-separate sa shareholders from the corporate entity. So dili pwedeng i-pierce or mulusot diha sa veil para pabayron ang mga shareholders sa ilang utang sa corporation. Okay? So there, piercing the corporate veil therefore is about pwedeng pabayron ang mga shareholder sa utang sa corporation kung gigamit ang corporation to shield fraud, defeat public policy, or commit illegality. Okay? Now, this is what we call the alter ego doctrine. When the corporation is merely the alter ego of the controlling stockholder or officer, the courts disregard the separate personality and hold them personally liable. Okay? Now, question. What is the difference between ultra vires and piercing the corporate veil? Okay? Ultra vires and piercing the corporate veil. Now, as mentioned ganiha, ultra vires is about the scope of corporate powers, meaning wala sila musulod sa corporate powers. Ang corporate powers are those nga na-mention sa Articles of Incorporation or bylaws. Mo na siya ang ultra vires. Ang piercing the veil concerns abuse of corporate form. Gi-abuse ang corporate form para to shield in making a fraudulent or illegal activity. Gigamit ang corporation para sa fraudulent or illegal activity. Okay? Now, current example, di ba? You have heard about the flood control cases. Di ba? Now, since gigamit ang corporation to commit fraud or illegality, pwedeng i-personally liable mismo ang mga shareholders or stockholders. Ano na siyang itawag piercing the veil of juridical personality. Okay? And then lastly, juridical domicile. Corporation has its own domicile, which is ang principal office na nakabutang sa Articles of Incorporation. So kung naay mga notice or any announcements nga gusto nato nga i-bind ang corporation, it should be served at this address, like mga BIR audit notices. So dapat adto na nila i-address sa principal office based in the AOI or Articles of Incorporation. Okay. Now, na-mention na to ganiha ang katong mga powers of the corporation. Ang powers of the corporation gi-categorize into two. You have the express powers and you have the ultra vires powers. Ang express powers nasa section 35. Okay? Mao ni siya ang basically nakabutang diya sa Articles of Incorporation. So, unsa na ang mga powers nila? Can be sue and be sued in its corporate name. Perpetual existence unless Articles of Incorporation provides otherwise. Adopt and use a corporate seal. Amend the Articles of Incorporation. Adopt and amend bylaws as long as not contrary to law. Issue or sell stocks or admit members in a non-stock. Purchase, hold, sell, lease, pledge, mortgage real and personal property. Enter into a joint venture, merger, partnership, or commercial agreement, make charitable, cultural, or scientific donations, establish pension and retirement plans for employees, and exercise other powers necessary to carry out the stated purposes. Okay? So muna ang mga express powers. Basically, what a corporation can do. Now, outside of this, any act nga outside ani is considered ultra vires. Ultra vires, that's section 44, an act done beyond the express powers of the corporation. So, no corporation shall exercise powers other than those conferred in section 35 or its articles of incorporation. Okay. So, unsa rin pwedeng mabuhat sa corporation? Kaning express power sa section 35, and if ever naa sila gidugang, dapat naka-mention sa articles of incorporation. So again, balikon nako ha. Ang express powers of corporation are those enumerated in section 35 plus any other powers nga gi-add nila as long as nakabutang sa articles of incorporation. Kung pananglitan, ang act sa corporation is outside section 35 and wala pod sa articles of incorporation, unsay consequence? The act can be considered void or merely voidable. What do we mean by void? Remember in our obligations and contracts, void, basically illegal or voidable outside the articles of incorporation and section 35, but not illegal. Okay? Now, unsa may buhaton sa corporation kung nihimo silag act outside the express powers o sa articles of incorporation. Ang cure, ratification by stockholders. They ratify. How do they ratify? By the vote of the members of the stockholders. I-mention sa bylaws kung pila ang vote, and we will discuss it put later on. Okay? I-ratify ka na nga action kanang certain nga ultra vires acts. Alright? But, unsa ray pwedeng ma-ratify? Katong voidable, meaning outside the AOI and the express powers in section 35 but not illegal. Pero kung illegal gani ang act, it cannot be ratified by the stockholders. Kay illegal siya. Okay. All right, now let's test our knowledge on this. Okay. The doctrine of separate juridical personality means that the corporation has a legal personality separate and distinct from its stockholders or members. So the corporation's separate juridical personality means it is a distinct legal entity and has its own rights, obligations, and liabilities separate from the stockholders or members who compose it. Number two, okay? Number two, under what doctrine may a court hold stockholders personally liable for the debts of the corporation? So mahimo silang personally liable. Under what doctrine? That's the doctrine of piercing the corporate veil. Ang piercing the corporate veil o alter ego, pareho na siya. Okay? Courts can pierce the corporate veil when the corporate fiction is used to shield fraud, justify wrong, defeat public policy, or protect illegality. So this makes stockholders or officers personally liable. Number three, under Section 44, an ultra vires act is an act that performed by the corporation that goes beyond the powers conferred, again ha, by Republic Act 11232 katong Section 35 or its articles of incorporation. So ultra vires na siya. Okay? No, mo gibutang sa Section 44, no corporation shall possess or exercise powers other than those conferred by Republic Act 11232 or by its articles of incorporation. Acts beyond these limits are ultra vires distinct from and not necessarily the same as illegal acts. Diba ha? Ultra vires is not the same as illegal acts. Ultra vires can be illegal or legal, illegal or outside the AOI lang. The illegal acts cannot be ratified, but ultra vires, which is not illegal, can be ratified by the shareholders. Question number 4. Under Section 11, the default corporate term under 11232 is perpetual existence unless the AOI provides for a specific term. Okay? Okay, now we go to classes of corporation. Classes of corporation. Okay? Here, we will learn that the primary classification under Section 3 and further classifications and the holding parent and subsidiary corporation. Okay? So, we start with stock corporations versus non-stock corporation. This is the fundamental classification in Republic Act 11232. Okay? Now, test it this way. Does the entity have a capital stock divided into shares? And is it authorized to distribute dividends? If yes to both, then stock corporation. If no to either, then non-stock corporation. Okay? Example, when you become a CPA, you'll join PICPA. PICPA is a non-stock corporation. It has members na ay mga trustees and its income is used for the accounting profession. But the income is not distributed as dividends to its members. Okay? How about the other corporations like SM, BDO, or PLDT? These are stock corporations all the way. So note the key distinction in governance. Stock corporations are managed by a board of directors and elected by stockholders. Non-stock corporations are managed by trustees and elected by members. So different terminology, different governance rules. So again stock corporation, capital stock divided into shares, non-stock, no capital stock divided into shares. Non-stock corporation, they are authorized to distribute dividends, okay, meaning surplus profits on the basis of shares held. Ang non-stock, they are not authorized to distribute dividends. In a stock corporation, ang tawag sa mga tag-iya, stockholders or shareholders. In a non-stock corporation, members. You call them members. In a stock corporation, unsa may evidence of ownership, stock certificates. Okay? In a non-stock corporation, ang ilang income should be used only for the corporation's purposes. The purpose of a stock corporation, primarily profit-oriented. Ang purpose sa non-stock, it can be charitable, religious, educational, or civic. In a stock corporation, ang tawag sa pag-govern sa stock corporation are the board of directors. Kinsay mo elect sa board of directors? The stockholders. In a non-stock corporation, it is governed by the trustees elected by members. Examples of a stock corporation, you have BDO, SM, Prime, PLDT, Jollibee, and other one-person corporations. Non-stock corporation like foundations, PICPA, Red Cross, universities, churches, and NGOs. Kung ang shares sa stock corporation, freely transferable. Okay? Pwede na imong ma-transfer imong shares but naali mga restriction. In a non-stock corporation, ang imong membership is personal. Dili nimo pwedeng ma-transfer. Member ka og PICPA, dili pwede ipasa nimo sa imong lolo ang pagka-member sa PICPA o sa imong parents ang pagka-member sa PICPA. Okay? Okay. The next categorization is kaning public versus private corporation og closed versus open corporation. Now, public versus private. Now, this is about origin and purpose. Public corporations are created by the state or created by the state for government function. Okay, nasa government function nga gihimo. So, other examples, kanang SSS. Okay? Kanang SSS, gigamit na siya for Social Security. But, so, that's a public corporation created na by the Philippine government. GSIS is also a government corporation. Okay? And the local government units, kanang mga cities and municipalities, those cities or municipalities are created by law. So, created by the government. Now, when it comes to unsa nga by laws ang sundon in their operations, since created by government man sila, dili pwede gamiton ang Republic Act 11232. So kung mo-determine ta kung unsa ang mga rules for public corporations, dili Republic Act 11232 ang gamiton. They will be governed by their charter. Gitawag na ito ng charter. Unsa ng charter? Mao na siya ang law nga nag-create nila. So ang katong law nga nag-create nila, mo na ang equivalent Republic Act 11232. You can research pananglitan. Yun sa man pag-form ang PAGCOR, there is a law na nag-create sa PAGCOR. SSS and GSIS, there is a law that created these public corporations. And so, naangan na nga law ang mga operations nila rules. Okay? O ang mga rules nga ilang sundon. So again, public corporations are not governed by the Public Act 11232. They are governed by their own charters or their own laws na nag-create nila. Now, we go to private corporation. Private corporations, on the other hand, are formed by private individuals. They are primarily the subject of Republic Act 11232. Whether they are stock or non-stock, they fall under the corporation, the revised corporation code. So therefore, private corporations, tanang private corporations are subject to SEC supervision and reportorial requirements. Okay. Now we go to the distinction between a closed corporation and an open corporation. Okay? A closed corporation is a hybrid corporation. Okay? Mura na siya og partnership in corporate clothing. Okay? O siya partnership in corporate clothing. The articles of incorporation must provide 3 requirements para makonsidered siya as closed corporation. Una, maximum shareholders, 20 lang ka stockholders. Okay? Not more than 20 ka stockholders. Number 2, transfer restrictions on all shares, meaning there's the issued stock subject to one or more specified restrictions on transfer, meaning dili nila pwedeng matransfer bisan kinsa kay closed lagi, di ba? Closed corporation. So dili pwedeng magpa-admit sila og bag-ong stockholder na ay restriction. Kaya nga closed. So gilimit siya. And number 3, corporation shall not list in any stock exchange or make any public offering. Mostly gigamit ni siya sa mga family corporations na gusto nila ang pamilya lang ang naadiha. Dili pwede sila mudawat og shareholder nga dili pamilya. And then dili pod pwede i-transfer ang ilahang shares to another party kay naay restriction sa pag-transfer. Okay? Now, again, dapat ang closed corporation wala dili mag-list sa stock exchange or offer their shares to the public. Okay? So, if you are a bank, insurance companies, okay, public utilities or educational institutions nga nag-offer og shares to the public, dili ka pwedeng mahimong closed corporation. Okay? Banks, insurance companies, public utilities like VECO, okay, Meralco, right? Mining companies, oil companies, and stock exchanges cannot be a closed corporation. Period. This exclusion list appears in almost every test sa mga board exams. So, wanay labot, dili na pwede mahimong closed corporation. Now, napunta gitawag og parent og subsidiary. Okay? Parent or subsidiary, unsa na siya? Well, the parent owns the controlling shares in the subsidiary. Meaning, like, give an example, Aboitiz Equity Ventures is the parent company of Aboitiz Power. Aboitiz Equity Ventures is also the parent company of Union Bank. Aboitiz Corporate Equity Ventures is also the parent company of Aboitiz Infra Capital and Aboitiz Land. So, when you say parent company, siya mo'y naay control sa mga subsidiary. The parent owns the controlling shares in the subsidiary. However, even if naa siya controlling shares sa iyahang mga subsidiary is the children, okay? Na siya controlling shares sa mga children niya or subsidiary. The parent and the subsidiary are considered two separate legal entities. So, Ayala Corporation, which is the parent company, is not automatically liable for BPI, ngayang subsidiary or child, ng mga utang niya. Ayala Corporation cannot be held automatically liable sa mga utang ni BPI just because si Ayala Corporation controls BPI as a parent. Okay? Again, going back to the veil, the corporate veil. The corporate veil separates them. Unless, of course, na ay ground to pierce the corporate veil. Okay? The corporate veil separates them unless there are grounds for piercing the veil. This is also where tax planning happens. You have holding companies, mostly parent company gani, holding company yun na sila. And subsidiaries are structured precisely around this separation of legal entities. Okay? Okay. So let's go to knowledge check. Let's see what you have learned. Under section 3, which statement best defines a corporation? A corporation with capital stock divided into shares that is authorized to distribute dividends or allotments of surplus profits on the basis of the shares held. Okay? Section 3 defines a stock corporation as one having a capital stock divided into shares and authorized to distribute to holders dividends or allotments of surplus profits on the basis of the shares held. Number 2, a non-stock corporation earns profit from a seminar it conducted, like PICPA. Under Republic Act 11232, this profit is C, dili pwede nimang i-distribute. Shall not be distributable as dividends. It must be used for the furtherance of the corporation's purposes, as required in Section 86. It provides that no part of the income of a non-stock corporation is distributable as dividends to members, trustees, or officers. Any profit must be used for the corporation's purposes. Number 3, which of the following may not be incorporated as a closed corporation under Section 95? A, letter C, a thrift bank with stockholders, transfer restrictions, and no public listing. As mentioned ganiha, ang bangko cannot be considered a closed corporation. The others there, kanang family-owned farm corporation, pwede. Real estate with 15 stockholders nga no public listing, pwede. A manufacturing company with 20 stockholders, that's the maximum. and restrictions on share transfer, that's a closed corporation. That can be a closed corporation. But banks must keep 10 stockholders. Banks, by its nature, are not allowed to become a closed corporation. Question number 4. Company X owns 60% of Company Y shares. Company Y fails to pay a 5 million obligation. As a general rule, okay? As a general rule, kisa may mabayad. Company Y, as a separate juridical entity, is solely liable for its own debts. Company X, the parent, is not automatically liable. Again, what's the doctrine? Doctrine of separate juridical personality, or the PAIL, shields Company X from Company Y's liability. Company Y is its own legal person. The parent is not automatically liable for subsidiary entities' debts unless there are grounds for piercing the corporate veil. Okay, so we now go to corporation by special laws or charters. In here, we will learn okay, the primary law, which grants special charter, the supplementary role of Republic Act 11232, and the examples like the public corporations, PSP, SSS, GSIS, state universities, and PADCOR. All right, now, according to Section 4, corporations created by special laws or charters shall be governed primarily by the provisions of the special law or charter creating them or applicable to them, supplemented by the provisions of Republic Act 1123, 11232, insofar as they are applicable. So, sabot pasabot nini. Ang Section 4 gives us what we call the hierarchy rule. Hierarchy rule. Corporations created by special law or special charters are governed primarily by their special law. Kato akong giingon ng ganiha, mga public corporations. Public corporations created by a different law. Corporation sila, but ang applicable nila nga law is the law that created them. So, una sang i-apply ang law that created them. That's the hierarchy. Ang Republic Act 11232 applies only as a supplementary rule to fill in the gaps and only insofar as its provisions are applicable. Okay? So again, the primary law, the charter that created the corporation, the public corporation. The special law or charter takes precedence over Republic Act 11232. Any provision of Republic Act 11232 that conflicts with the special charter is set aside kay ang mo prevail is ang special charter. However, ang Republic Act 11232 pwedeng gamiton to fill in the gaps insofar as applicable. It should not override or supersede the special law. Now, let's make this concrete. The Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas is a public corporation. It is governed by Republic Act 7653. Republic Act 7653 is the law approved by Congress, okay, that created the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. Okay? If Republic Act 7653 says one thing and Republic Act 11232 says another regarding the same matter, which will prevail? As discussed, ang mo prevail is ang special law. Republic Act 7653 wins. Republic Act 11232 is the fallback and the gap filler. Another example, SSS. SSS was created under Republic Act 111 99. Okay? GSIS was created under Republic Act 8291. PAGCOR is also created by law. Kanang mga state universities or state colleges na ni-exist pod na sila based sa ilahang individual charters. So all of these are governed primarily by their own special laws. Therefore, ang katong special laws nila mo ay mo reveal, ang Republic Act 11232 is a supplement, never the primary force. Now, one more point. The SEC does not have the same supervision authority over special charter corporations that it has over private corporations. So si SEC, dili siya maka-monitor or regulate sa mga public corporations. Okay? For example, another example, ang Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas regulates banks. The Insurance Corporation or Insurance Commission regulates insurance companies. So kung specific industry gani siya, the SEC steps back and defers to the primary regulator. Now, why does this make sense? Because special charter corporations often carry a public trust dimension. Like for banks, they deal with depositors' money. For insurance, premiums. For SSS, social security contributions. So their primary regulator is specially or specifically designed and equipped to oversee them. So lahi ang ilahang pag-monitor. CSEC for those mga regular corporations yun siya. Okay? Okay, so let's now go to knowledge check. Under section 4, which law primarily governs a corporation created by a special charter? Special charter. So that should be the law, that special law or charter that creates or governs the corporation. Republic Act 11232 applies supplementarily only. Okay? Section 4 is clear. The special charter corporations are governed primarily by their special law or charter. Republic Act 11232 applies only supplementarily to fill the gaps and so far as applicable, but not to override the special law. Number 2, the Social Security system is governed primarily by Republic Act 1199 or the Social Security Act, but ang Republic Act 11232 or Revised Corporation Code can be applied supplementarily to fill in the gaps not covered by Republic Act 11199. Question 4. Question 3. Which regulatory body has primary authority over commercial banks? Okay, is it the SEC? No. It's the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas exercises primary regular authority over banks as stated under the law or the Republic Act 7653. Section 183 of the Revised Corporation Code confirms that regulators like the BSP exercise primary authority over banks and other financial institutions. Okay, so now we go to the last topic for the night, which is corporators, incorporators, stockholders, and members. In here, we will learn who are the key persons in every corporation. Okay? Section 5 defines corporators, incorporators, stockholders, and members. Section 10 discusses the qualifications and number of incorporators, and also the one-person corporation as a special incorporator case. Okay, let's go to this slide. Here, unsa ang corporation? Corporators? all those who compose the corporation at any given time, whether stockholder or shareholder or as members of a non-stock corporation. Take note, incorporators are also corporators. So any shareholder at any time is called corporator. Okay? Even the members of a non-stock corporation is called corporators. Okay? Example, all owners of BDO shares are corporators of BDO, including the original founders. But balikon na ako incorporators are also corporators. Now, who are the incorporators? These are specifically named in the AOI, Articles of Incorporation, as originally forming and composing the corporation and who are signatories thereof. So pagporma nimo sa Articles of Incorporation, kinahanglan man nimo ibutang diha ang name sa mga nag-form sa corporation. Ang tawag ana incorporators. This is a fixed group at the inception. Pagsugod pa lang, you cannot become an incorporator after the Articles of Incorporation is filed. So, ang incorporator, kadto ra jud lang nag-sign sa Articles of Incorporation. After ana, any new shareholder is no longer called an incorporator. You call that corporator. Example, the founders who signed SM Price original Articles of Corporation and later investors who buy the shares are called stockholders na, not incorporators. Okay, then you have stockholders or shareholders. Okay, corporators in a stock corporation. Okay, when you look at corporators, basically you are talking about stock corporation. They own shares evidenced by a stock certificate. They have rights like the vote, receive dividends, inspect books, transfer shares, exercise appraisal rights, or receive liquidation share. Now, stockholders and shareholders are basically the same. All individuals and entities that own PLDT shares, an example, are called stockholders of PLDT. Members, these are for non-stock. Members are the corporators in a non-stock corporation. Membership is personal, dili nimo pwedeng mabaligya, non-transferable, unless the articles or bylaws say otherwise. Walay stock certificates ka i-issue, kay non-stock man siya. So, ano mag-issue mag-stock certificate, di ba? Example, CPAs who are part of PICPA are members of PICPA. Membership cannot be sold or transferred. Okay? So, just to summarize, all incorporators are corporators, but not all corporators are incorporators. Incorporators are a fixed, specific subset, those named in the original AOI as founders and who signed it. Later, stockholders are corporators, but they will never be incorporators. So, think of it this way. The founders of SM Prime who signed the original AOI, those specific people are incorporators, permanently, historically, legally. So, when Henry C. Jr. buys more shares, he becomes a larger stockholder, still a corporator, but not an incorporator of a corporation he didn't sign into existence. Okay? So that's clear. Now, let's go to the qualifications of incorporators. Section 10. Any person, partnership, association, or corporation, singly or jointly with others, but not more than 15 in number, may organize a corporation for any lawful person. So, who may incorporate? Any person. Meaning, maski juridical person, pwedeng mag-incorporate. So, pwede nga ang incorporator ang nakabutang is a name of a corporation. Kay any person man, or even partnership, or association, or corporation, pwedeng mahimong incorporator. So, any person, whether natural or juridical, like a partnership, association, or corporation, singly or jointly. Okay? In Article 1, in the revised corporation code, even a single person can incorporate it, a one-person corporation, abolishing the old minimum of 5. Okay? So, what's the maximum number of incorporators? 15. Not more than 15. In the old law, the range was 5 to 15. Under the new law, i-change na nila. Iingon lang nila maximum of 15. Nga naman, because ang one-person corporation, one raman ang iyahang minimum. Okay? But you retain ang 15 as the maximum. For the natural persons, katong humans, what's the legal age before ka mahimong incorporator? Incorporators who are natural persons must be 18 years old and above for legal age. Okay? Minors cannot be incorporators. Pwedeng ma-incorporator ang mga minor. And then, in a stock corporation, na kay share subscription. Each incorporator of a stock corporation must own or subscribe to at least one share. Unsa diferensya sa own o subscribe? Own gani na bayra na nimo. Okay? Ang subscribe ning saad ka nga mobayad. Wa pa nimo mabayri tanan. Manang gitawag subscribe. So even if subscriber ka of one share, pwede na kang matawag og incorporator. Okay? So again, each incorporator for a stock corporation must own or subscribe to at least one share. Walay minimum amount. Dili amount ang minimum ha. Ang minimum, one share. And with that, you can be called a, that's the requirement na for an incorporator. One share lang. Now, na ay mga persons who cannot incorporate for professional purposes. Who? Natural persons. Those who are licensed to practice profession, like CPAs, lawyers, doctors, or engineers. Okay? Even mga CPAs, basta mga mo pasar og ka ng mga board exam, they cannot incorporate for professional purposes, and there's a special law which allows them. So diya kita og partnership, like for example SGB, di yun na pwede mga corporation. Punong bayan ng Raulio, di yun na pwede mga corporation. General professional partnerships na yun na sila, because there's a restriction. Professionals cannot incorporate. And then the latest innovation, OPC or one-person corporation, single stockholder na lang. A corporation with a single stockholder is a one-person corporation. The single stockholder is the director and at the same time, the president. But dili siya pwede mahimong corporate secretary. Mag-appoint siya og lain nga mahimong corporate secretary. Pwede siyang director o president but cannot be the corporate secretary. Okay? Okay, so last knowledge check. Which correctly distinguishes incorporators and stockholders from incorporators from stockholders under Section 5. Incorporators are those named in the AOI as originally forming the corporation and signatories thereof. Stockholders are all current holders of shares. Okay? Stockholders are kato ng mga corporators. Right? Okay. Next. Okay, here. Incorporators are specifically those named in the AOI as originally forming the corporation and who are signatories. This is a fixed group. Okay? Stockholders include all current share owners. Number 2, under Section 10, the maximum number of incorporators allowed is 15. That's the maximum. Section 10 allows up to 15 incorporators. Under the old law, it was minimum of 5, maximum 15. Under the new law, since na may one person corporation, ang maximum na lang is 15. So technically, 1 to 15 for a one-person corporation, pwede ra 1. Okay. Number 3, Attorney Ramos, a licensed lawyer, wants to form Ramos Law Corporation to limit her personal liability. Under Section 10, is this allowed? Answer, no. Natural persons licensed to practice a profession cannot organize a corporation unless otherwise provided by a special law. Okay, that is Section 10, which clearly states that natural persons licensed to practice a profession shall not be allowed to organize a corporation unless otherwise provided under special laws. So this covers lawyers, doctors, engineers, and other licensed professionals regulated by the Professional Regulatory Commission. And last one, number 4. Under Section 89, membership in a non-stock corporation is generally personal and non-transferable unless the AOI or bylaws provide otherwise. Clearly, as Section 89, membership in a non-stock corporation and all the rights arising therefrom are personal and non-transferable unless the AOI or bylaws provides otherwise. Okay? So with that, I close the discussion. We'll end the discussion today, and we'll on here in here, and we'll continue with this one in the next meeting. All right. If you have no questions or clarifications, you may leave the classroom.